Hello everyone, well I know it's been a while and I apologize for that, but I'm back here right now with the third lesson of chords for the How to Play Piano/Keyboard series videos. Now if you haven't seen any of the previous videos, you can check them all out on my blog, and that link will be right in the description below. So we're going to get right into the lesson today. Now this is going to be the toughest lesson on chords yet, because I'm going to be teaching you sharp and flat chords. So we're going to be starting off by teaching you how to play the C#/D flat chord. Now just remember, just like from notes, each black key has two names to it, the sharp name and the flat name. The same thing goes for chords. Now I'll be telling you both of the names, but just remember for the future to try to remember that these chords both have two names as well. So I'm going to be starting off by teaching the C#/D flat chord. And as you can see, this is going to be a little bit tougher because you have two black keys right here. Then you're going to have to play that white key right in the middle. So this may feel kind of unnatural playing right away, but you will get used to it soon. So the C#/D flat chord is made up of C# and D flat note, the F note, and the G#/A flat note. And the way to get used to playing this, to make it feel more natural, is to just keep playing the chord. Don't try switching to other chords. Just keep playing it like this, and you'll start to get used to playing these type of chords. So the C# chord/D flat chord is made up of C#, F, and G#. Now we're going to be moving all of our fingers up one key each. We're going to be playing the D#/E flat chord. And this is made up of D# and E flat, G, and A# and B flat. Now with this chord, the tough thing is just going to be having this finger be in between these two black keys and not hitting these two black keys. That's going to be the toughest thing about this chord right here. So you're just going to want to make sure your fingers are really well in place and just keep playing this chord. And this chord is again made up of D#, G, and A#. Now we're going to be moving to a little bit easier of a chord, and that is the F# chord. Now the reason why this is a little bit easier is because all of the keys are black keys. So they're all on the same level for this chord, so it is a little bit easier to play. And it's made up of F#/G flat note, A#/B flat note, and C#/D flat note. And this one should come a little bit easier, simply because it's all on the same level. And again, this is made up of F#, A#, and C#. And those notes are also G flat, B flat, and D flat. So that is the F# chord. Now we're going to be moving to G#. And this is going to be like C# and D#, where we're going to have two black keys and one white key. So you get kind of a break from the F# when you're playing that chord because it's all on the same level, but then right again to G#, you're going to be back to the old way. And the G# chord is made up of G# and A flat notes, the C note, and the D# and E flat notes. And that is the G#/A flat chord. And again, this is made up of G# and A flat, C, and D# and E flat. And now we're going to be moving on to the A#/B flat chord. And this chord can be a little bit tough, but the nice thing about it is we're now back to playing two white keys and one black key. So the A sharp slash B flat chord is made up of A sharp and B flat, D, and F. Now if you've gotten used to playing the B minor chord and the B chord, the chord should come a little bit easier because all it is flipped. So the B chord is kind of played with two black keys and one white key, while the A sharp slash B flat chord is just the exact opposite. So again, this chord is made up of A sharp and B flat, D, and then F. Well, now that I taught you how to play the sharp and the flat chords, now I'm going to be moving on and teaching you guys how to play the sharp and the flat minor chords. Now these chords aren't necessarily harder to play, but they can kind of be hard to remember since there's very little to distinguish them apart from the regular major chord. So this chords right here, this is where you're definitely going to want to remember your note names and where all the notes are on the keyboard so you can remember exactly how these chords are played. So we're going to be starting off by teaching you the C sharp slash D flat minor chord. And it's made up of C sharp and D flat, E, and G sharp and A flat notes. So as you can tell, the only difference here from the major chord is that E. This can be a little bit difficult to get used to because, as you can tell, it's only one note apart and you're using this finger. So definitely learn the C sharp slash D flat major chord. Remember how that works and try to get your fingers to remember and try to get your fingers used to that chord, and then move on to playing the C sharp slash D flat minor chord so you can then get used to that one. And again, it's made up of C sharp slash D flat, E, and G sharp slash A flat. Now, I'm going to be moving on to the D sharp slash E flat minor chord. So this chord is going to be a little bit different because it's all played on the black keys. So here's another chord that's played completely on the black keys. And it is made up of D sharp and E flat, F sharp and G flat, and A sharp and B flat. So this chord is probably going to be a little bit easier to play simply because it's all on the black keys. So D sharp and E flat, F sharp slash G flat, and A sharp slash B flat. And now we're going to be moving on to playing a little bit more harder chords now. I think that chord's probably the easiest of the sharp and the flat minors to play. But now we're going to be moving up to F sharp minor. And you know how the F sharp was kind of easy to play? The F sharp minor, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. Because it is not all on the three black keys now. You're putting this finger on a white key. So the F sharp slash G flat minor chord, it's going to be F sharp slash G flat note, A, and then C sharp slash D flat note. And again, this one's going to be a little bit difficult because you got to make sure that you're hitting the white key and not hitting any of these other black keys. So, F sharp slash G flat, A, and C sharp slash D flat. And now, I'm going to be moving up to the G sharp slash A flat chord. And this one is going to be played G sharp and A flat note, B, and then D sharp slash E flat note. So again, this is G sharp slash A flat note, B, and D sharp / E flat note. So those are the sharp / flat minor chords. Well, if you remember back to a few of my other chords lessons in this series, you'll remember that I was kind of looking over and teaching you guys how to change chords around so it's easier to play them with other chords in correlation with the sound that you're playing. Now for this lesson, definitely learn the straightforward way to play the chords first, and definitely try to remember where the notes are and what the notes are. It will make it a lot easier in the future then to put this technique into use. So definitely get down the straightforward way of playing them, and once you've gotten that down, try this little thing out. So let's say you are playing a song and it's got an A and then it goes up to a C sharp minor chord. Now, as you can tell, it's a big jump, and when you're making big jumps on the keyboard, it sounds a little bit disconnected, and it also leaves a lot more room for error. You can make a lot more mistakes when you're jumping up the keyboard because you're trying so hard to jump up that your fingers will slip. It won't sound that good. So let's look at these two chords and see if they have anything in common. Now with the A chord, it's made up of A, C sharp, and E. With the C sharp minor chord, it's made up of C sharp, E, and G sharp. Now as you can tell, the C sharp and the E are in both chords. So the only thing you're doing that's different is you're moving from A to G sharp. So if you're playing that straightforward C sharp minor chord, that G sharp is very far away. But there's no reason to play the C sharp minor chord the straightforward way every time. As you can tell, there's also a G sharp down here. And it's also awfully close to the A of that A chord. And since these two notes are always the same, you can simply play the C sharp minor chord down here like this. And then all of a sudden, you have a really easy way to play this because all you're doing is you're moving from A down to G sharp. So it's things like that, looking where the notes are in the chord and looking where else you can play them. And that will make it a lot easier to play piano and a lot easier to play songs on the piano. Now certainly, it's going to take a little bit to get used to if you're just starting off with it. You're going to have to look a lot to find where the notes are and everything like that, but soon you're going to be able to just remember where every chord is on the piano. It's going to make life a lot easier when you're learning piano. But of course, learn the straightforward chords first, then try this out. So that is all I'm going to be teaching you guys today in this How to Play Piano series video. If you like this video, please thumbs up and comment, and also please subscribe to my videos. Thanks for watching, and please keep watching my videos.